So the first one says Anna is in a cave 40 feet below the cave entrance. She descends 13 feet and then ascends 18 feet. Write an evaluated expression to find her new position relative to the cave's entrance. So she is starting 40 feet below. How do we represent that? Negative 40. She descends 13 feet. So you could say plus a negative 13 or minus 13, whatever you want to do, because it's the same, right? Can you all see that? Then what happens? She ascends 18 feet. So what does that mean? She goes up, so plus 18 feet. Okay, so now we use our rules that we just talked about up above. When adding, same signs add, different signs subtract, keep your signs. So if we look, we have a negative 40 plus 13. We're going to work left to right. What's a negative 40 plus 13? Negative 50. Okay, so we're just going to work left to right. Now we still have plus 18. Are they the same signs or different signs? So I'm going to subtract. I take 53 minus 18. So what's 13 minus 8? 5. And what's 4 minus 1? 3. All of you should be writing. Okay, is that going to be a positive or negative 35? Because the 53 was larger. And what does that mean? A negative 35 is what if we write it in relation to the cave entrance? Is it above the cave entrance or below? So I could say she is 35 feet below the cave entrance. Now, if I say below the cave entrance, I don't want to say negative. So I could write it as a negative 35 feet, or I could say 35 feet below the cave entrance. Because the below tells us it's negative. Okay? Are we good on that example? I need to figure out how to turn off my notifications on my mail. Okay. Alex wrote checks on Tuesday for $35 and $45. He also made a deposit in his checking account for $180. Find the overall change in the amount in his checking account. So he wrote checks for $35 and $45. So if you write a check, is money coming in, going into your account or coming out? So we have to put negative 35, right? Plus negative 45. That represents the checks coming out of your account, right? But then he made a deposit of 180. So if you make a deposit, is that money going into your account or coming out? A deposit goes into your account. A withdrawal comes out. Deposit is in, withdrawal is out. Okay? So now we can take a negative 35 plus a negative 45. And what do we get? Negative 80 plus 180. Now our signs are different, so we're going to add or subtract. Subtract, and you get what? 100. So $100 in Alex's account. Okay, now we're going to represent this last example using integers. Is everyone ready? Okay, Jim and Carla are scuba diving. Jim starts out 10 feet below the surface. He descends 18 feet, rose 5 feet, and descends 12 more feet. Then he rested. Carla started at the surface. She descended 20 feet, rose 5 feet, and descended another 18 feet. Then she rested. Which person rested at a greater depth? Explain. So first of all, we have to figure out where they are. So Jim, right? He started out 10 feet below the surface, which is what? negative 10, right? Descended 18 feet. So is that positive or negative? Rose 8 feet, positive or negative?
Positive.
And then he descended 12 more. Whoops. So I have a negative 10 plus a negative 18 plus 5 plus negative 12. So let's work left to right. What's a negative 10 and a negative 18? Negative 28 plus 5, which is? What's a negative 28 plus 5? Negative 20. Negative 23, and we still have the minus 12, or plus the negative 12. Right? So those signs are the same, so we add them together. What's a negative 23 plus a negative 12? So Jim is at a negative 35 feet, right? Now let's see where Carla is. So Carla starts, whoops, at the surface, right? So she's at 0. She descends 20 feet, so a negative 20. Rose 5 feet, so that's plus 5. And descends another 18, so that's a negative 18, right? So what's a negative 20 plus 5? Negative 15, and all we have left is plus a negative 18. Yep, you add them because they're the same signs. They're both negative. So what's 15 plus 18? 33. Okay, so the question asks, which person rested at a greater depth? Who's farther down? Jim is how far? 2 feet below Carla. Okay, guided practice on page 28, question 1. Seventh graders, I'm not talking over you. Thomas works as an underwater photographer. He starts at a position that is 15 feet below sea level. He rises 9 feet, then descends 12 feet to take a photo of coral reef. Write and evaluate an expression to find his position relative to sea level when he took the photo. So where do we start at? He starts as a position where? So negative 15 plus, if he rises 9 feet, is that positive or negative? Positive 9. Then he descends 12 feet plus a negative 12. And then he takes his photo. So our expression is a negative 15 plus 9 plus a negative 12. Or you could have written it as negative 15 plus 9 minus 12. Those are the same expressions. So you have to recognize it can be both of those. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve that. What's a negative 15 plus 9? Negative 6 plus a negative 12 is what? Negative 18. So we would say he is 18 feet below sea level. Okay, why is there so much visiting? Question 2. The temperature on a winter night was a negative 23 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature rose by 5 degrees Fahrenheit. When the sun came up, the sun set again. The temperature dropped by 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Write and evaluate an expression to find the temperature after the sunset. Okay, so what are we going to start with? It was 23 degrees. It rose by 5, right? Then what? Plus -7 or -7. Either one, right? You can just say -7 or plus a negative. It means the same thing. But you got to recognize that both are correct. So let's go ahead and do that. A -23 plus 5 is what? -18. -7 is like plus a -7. -25. So what does that mean? It was a -25 degrees Fahrenheit, or it was 25 degrees Fahrenheit below 0. Either one. Can you guys put away the art supplies, please? We're taking notes.
We don't have the art supply.
I'm not talking to you.
Well, none of us have the art supplies, so that
Liam, I'm not talking to you. Question 3. Jose earned 50 points in a video game. He lost 40 points, earned 87 points, and then lost 30 more points. Write and evaluate an expression to find his final score in the video game. So what's your expression going to look like? 50. Yeah.
plus -40.
So you could do plus a -40. Good.
Plus 87.
Plus 87 minus 30. Okay. So what's 50 plus a -40? And 10 plus 87 is what? And then 97 minus 30 is what? His final score was 67 points. So that's writing the expressions and solving them. Now on 4 through 9, we're just going to solve them. So a -6 plus 15 plus 15. Raise your hand if you know the answer. Ray, what did you get? Awesome. So -6 plus 15 was 19. Or excuse me, it was 9 plus 15, which is 24. Okay, number 5. 9 minus 4 minus 17. Raise your hand if you have the answer. Work it left to right. Mandy? Close. Try it again. 9 minus 4 is 5, right? Minus or plus a -17. And what did you say it was? Is that what you said before? So what's 17 minus 5? What's 7 minus 5? So it's a -12. Okay, the next one, 50 minus 42 plus 10. Emily? What? 18. Please don't be visiting. 6 plus 13 plus 7 minus 5. Raise your hand when you know. All of you should be solving them. Some of you are just sitting there waiting for your neighbors to do it. All of you solve them. What did you get, Antone? Good. So you get 19 plus 7, which is 26, minus 5, which is 21. Very good. How about number 8? 65 plus 43 minus 11. What'd you get, Max? Close. You would get 108, right? Minus 11, which is 97. And then number 9, a -35 minus 14 plus 45 plus 31. What's a negative 35 plus a negative 14? So that'd be 49, right? Plus 45, so you have to subtract. So what's a negative 4 plus 31? You gotta subtract those.
27.
Good. Okay, on 10 and 11, we have to determine what has a greater value. So we have a negative 12 plus 6, right, which is a negative 6, minus 4, which is what? Negative 10, good. Or a negative 34 plus a negative 3 plus 39. So this would be a negative 37 plus 39, which gives us a value of what? Good. So the negative 12 plus 6 minus 4 is less than the second value. On the next one, we have a negative 21 minus 3 plus 8. So it's like plus a negative, right? So that'd be 18 plus 8, which is what? Or negative 14 plus 31, which gives us a positive. What's 31 minus 14?
17.
And then minus 6. So minus 6 would be 11. So this one would be greater than. And then on 12, it says to explain how you can find the value of the expression negative 5 plus 12 plus 10 minus 7. We are adding and subtracting what direction? Add and subtract from left to right. So what is a negative 5 plus 12? 7. Then we have 7 plus 10, which is?
17.
And 17 minus 7 gives us 10. Good job.